Today we will talk how submarines work in the sea and history of the Titanic. But first of all, let's talk briefly about the tragic incident on Sunday, June 18, 2023, involving the submarine that was exploring the Titanic shipwreck. It's so sad that the 5 people on board are believed to have died. Yes, it's truly heartbreaking. The Titanic Expedition submarine was carrying famous British billionaire Hamish Harding, Pakistani billionaire Shahzada Dawood and his son, Oceangate CEO Stockton Rush, and a 73-year-old explorer Paul Henry Nougat. Those individuals were true explorers with a deep passion for the ocean. It's devastating for their families and everyone involved. I cannot even imagine what their loved ones must be going through right now. It's such a tragic loss. I read that one of the passengers, Hamish Harding, was an experienced explorer who had broken several world records. He seemed to have a real thirst for adventure. That's incredible. It's always inspiring to see people pushing the boundaries of exploration. Another passenger, Shahzada Dawood, was a vice chairman of an energy investment company. His son Solomon was also on board. Such a young life cut short. It's a reminder of how unpredictable life can be. The CEO of Oceangate, Stockton Rush, was also among the passengers. He played a significant role in the development of a submersible capable of reaching great depth in the ocean. Yes, Oceangate has been at the forefront of deep sea exploration. And let's not forget about Paul Henry Nougat, known as Mr. Titanic. He had extensive knowledge of the ship and had been involved in previous dives in the wreckage. It's a tremendous loss for the field of underwater research. Absolutely, their expertise and contributions will be sorely missed. It's so important to recognize the risks involved in these types of expeditions. I hope this tragedy prompts a re-evaluation of safety protocols for adventures tourism. I completely agree. Adventures tourism can be exciting and educational, but the safety of individuals should always be a top priority. It's a difficult situation, but I hope that investigations can provide some answers for the families and help prevent such an incident in the future. Yes, understanding what happened is crucial for closure and learning from this tragedy. My thoughts go out to the families of the victims. It's a difficult time and I hope they find strength and support during this heartbreaking ordeal. Absolutely, let's hope that the families can find solace and that the memories of those lost will be cherished. Now let's talk about the Titanic. Have you ever wondered about the history of the Titanic? Absolutely, the Titanic was a famous passenger liner that met with a tragic fate on its maiden voyage. It set sail from Southampton, England on April 10, 1912 and was supposed to reach New York City. However, on April 14, the ship struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean and sank. Yes, I remember reading about that. It was a devastating disaster. Do you know how many people were on board? The Titanic had approximately 2,224 passengers and crew members on board. Sadly, more than 1,500 people lost their lives in the sinking. It was one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in history. It's really fascinating, albeit tragic, how the Titanic still captivates people's imagination even after all these years. Speaking of which, I heard that there have been recent submarine expeditions to explore the wreckage. Do you know anything about that? Yes, indeed, several countries have undertaken submarine expeditions to the Titanic wreckage. One notable example is the United States. In 2019, an American exploration team led by Victor Vescover made multiple dives to the wreck site using a specially designed submersible called the DSV limiting factor. They were able to capture high resolution images and video footages of the wreck, providing new insights into the condition of the Titanic after more than a century. That's incredible. I'm sure those images must have revealed some fascinating details. Have any other countries conducted similar expeditions? Absolutely. In 2021, a British-led expedition led by Blue Marble Private utilized a submersible named Titan to explore the Titanic. The team consisted of explorers, scientists, and a documentary crew. They also collected valuable footage and data from the wreckage, shedding further light on the ship's remains. It's amazing how technology has progressed to allow us to explore such deep sea sites. But what about the missing bodies from the Titanic? Has there been any progress in locating them? Over the years, several attempts have been made to recover the bodies of the Titanic victims, but due to extreme depths and challenging conditions, most of the bodies remain with the ship at the bottom of the ocean. The focus of the recent expeditions has been on documenting the wreckage rather than recovering remains. That makes sense given the difficulties involved. But if the bodies cannot be recovered, how are the victims declared dead? In the aftermath of the Titanic disaster, a legal process known as presumptions of death was initiated. Since no bodies were found for many of the victims, a time limit was set, and after a certain period, usually several years, the missing individuals were declared legally dead based on evidence and witness testimonies. That must have been a difficult and emotional process for the families of the victims. It's a tragedy that still resonates with people to this day. Absolutely, the Titanic story continues to be a poignant reminder of the fragility of human life and the power of the sea. The recent submarine expeditions have not only contributed to our understanding of the Titanic history but also honored the memory of those who lost their lives on that ill-fated voyage. Now, moving forward, have you ever wondered how submarines work in the sea? Yeah, it's fascinating. Submarines are designed to operate underwater and are equipped with various systems to help them navigate and survive in the depths of the oceans. Absolutely, one of the key components of a submarine is its ballast system. By adjusting the amount of water in its ballast tanks, a submarine can control its buoyancy and either rise to the surface or descend to different depths. That's right. When a submarine wants to submerge, it fills its ballast tanks with water, which makes it heavier than the surrounding water, causing it to sink. To resurface, the submarine uses compressed air to empty the ballast tanks, which increases its buoyancy and brings it back to the surface. Additionally, submarines have propulsion systems that allow them to move underwater. Most submarines use electric motors powered by rechargeable batteries when submerged, and diesel engines are nuclear reactors when on the surface. That's correct. The electric motors are quiet and efficient, making them ideal for underwater operations. The nuclear powered submarines can stay submerged for extended periods without needing to surface for fuel. It's incredible how submarines can navigate in such a vast and often uncharted environment. They use a sonar system to detect objects, including other vessels, land masses, or even marine life. Sonar works by emitting sound waves and analyzing their echoes to determine the location and distance of objects. Absolutely, sonar is crucial for submarines operations, allowing them to navigate safely and detect potential threats. Submarines also use advanced navigation systems such as GPS and inertial navigation to determine their position accurately. By the way, do you know how many layers there are in the ocean? The ocean can be divided into different layers based on various factors such as temperatures, salinity, and density. The typical classification includes three main layers: the surface or mixed zone, the thermocline, and the deep zone. That's right, the surface layer, also known as the mixed zone, is the top layer of the ocean, which varies in depth depending on factors like waves, tides, and wind. It's where most of the ocean's biological activity occurs. The thermocline is the layer beneath the surface zone. It's characterized by a rapid decrease in temperature with increasing depth. This transition layer acts as a barrier between the warm surface water and the colder deep water. Finally, we have the deep zone, which extends from the base of the thermocline to the ocean floor. It's the coldest and darkest part of the ocean, with relatively stable temperature and low levels of dissolved oxygen. It's important to note that these layers can vary in thickness and characteristics depending on the location and oceanographic conditions. However, understanding these layers helps us comprehend the complex dynamics of the ocean. Definitely, the ocean is a fascinating and mysterious place, and submarines play a vital role in exploring its depths and conducting various scientific and military operations. Now tell me, can submarines capable of sending pictures and videos from depth of the ocean? And which country has submarines? Sending pictures and videos live from the depths of the oceans presents several challenges due to the limitations of underwater communication technology. While submarines are capable of capturing images and videos using onboard cameras and sensors, transmitting them in real time can be challenging. The countries that have the largest number of submarines are North Korea, the United States, China, and Russia. These countries are also among the world's superpowers and have invested heavily in their naval capabilities. Thank you for the information. Please subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos. Thank you.